So do you still convert dollars to naira before you buy something? That's the question I want us to address in this video. It's a very, very interesting mental math that we do whenever we want to buy anything. I don't know whether that applies to you. That's the fun topic I want to explore. Today in this topic, how you see a sandwich for $12, I quickly do the math in your head. Wow, that's almost 3,000 naira. I want to spend 3K on this. So let's get into it. Yeah, everyone, welcome back to the Abroad Life. And this episode, we are discussing a fun topic for those of us who are living outside of Nigeria, whether it's in the UK, in the US, anywhere in the world. And I mean, of course, you are earning in dollars, pounds, or euros, but every time you want to purchase anything, and some of us find ourselves first doing the mental mathematics to see how much that translates to in naira. So I'm putting it to you. Do you do that, or do you not do that?
So, and let me say it's a very easy question. I will mostly definitely do it. And I think it's going to take a while before forward can be able to say you fully transitioned and you stopped doing such. Like, I remember I was going to order like a battery tester online. This was just today. I wanted to just like be able to check if something is wrong with my car battery. And again, because of this do it yourself kind of thing, like you hardly will not get a roadside mechanic or someone to just check, some of those privileges we enjoy in Nigeria. And I was checking, I was going to buy that battery tester for $70. And I'm like, I just want to be sure my battery is fine. Like, I'm like $70, 70 times 1,600. Like, what's going on here?
So how many times a day do you get to do that? Honestly, how many times a day do you get to that? Are there items that you just, you don't care, like, or you do it for every item that you buy every day?
I doubt if I can count the number of times that I do it, right? Like,
I'm
for
just thinking, like,
food,
maybe for essential items that you
yeah,
have no other alternative, you have to
yeah.
pay. Do you bother yourself
I mean,
thinking,
even at that, so we were at H Mart yesterday, and
yeah,
we just planned. So the intention was to just buy vegetables and just go, just fill up. Like, it's just last few days of the month, just to
yeah,
like, and trying to buy vegetables. One thing led to the other, and what am I? What are we doing
just
here?
for the rest of the month, right?
Just for like today is 29, right? Like, just for So, but again, you're not like, hey, come on, like. You just have to spend the way you earn. Like, you possibly cannot get those vegetables from Nigeria yesterday. Like, I could not have
Yeah,
imported those vegetables. I'm like, then aside the vegetables, we pick some one or two items, like,
yeah.
But again, I wish there's a solution to that, but it's something we constantly do. I constantly do anyway. Like, you
It's not
pick,
even
eh,
conscious. It's not a conscious effort to do
and
that. Just
yeah,
that
yeah,
switch just goes on
it
in your
just
head,
goes
like,
like every time. It's just like, like, like if I just like order something online, or you want to pay for something, or even rent every month. Of course, that one I don't think so. By now, one might not constantly be worried about rent again, because
that's what I'm saying.
your
That for
mind
some
just,
essential
yeah,
things,
from
you have no
essential,
option. You get to pay
your
them.
mind will just adjust to that. Like, okay, well, that's how it is.
But if
But each
it's
time,
I'm just thinking, like, if it's okay, let me cite an example. So imagine you are about to buy a cup of coffee
yeah.
and it's $5. So do you immediately think that's over 7,500? Like, am I mad? Why will I pay 7,500 for a cup of coffee? I would rather just go home and make my own coffee, versus you want to pay your garbage bill,
Yeah.
like electricity, internet. Those are essential items that, so you just stop at some point, stop
Mhm.
calculating them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because you have no option. But when you have the option, you want to weigh, like, okay, this is a lot of money. I could just keep it.
To your point, I think the one I hate the most, I'm still okay with coffee, like ordering a drink, like, the one I really, that gets to me is when I book a ride and I do Uber to the airport or to somewhere, and I'm seeing $75, $80, and I'm like, you get
Like,
what I mean?
why?
Like,
So
hey,
why,
what's going on? Like, I feel
so
so pissed. Like, I feel
why will
so
I pay like 100K to go to the airport?
like to just go
100,000
for
naira
30
to
minutes. I'm like, can I
and
just
right?
avoid this thing? Like, can I just
Yeah.
send this money to someone? Like, can I just send this money to a friend or a distant, whoever, and like, hey, I just sent you 100,000 naira, right? So,
They will appreciate it more, right?
right, and then now that me just using it to book Uber ride, and there's this Uber driver just for me as if he's doing me a favor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really tricky. It's hard to stop that conversion. But again, I think the twist or the other side of it is, again, if we do those conversions too much, things are really expensive in Nigeria too. Again, if you say 50K will have done this, maybe that 50K will not do that thing that you are assuming that
I
it
mean,
will
and
do.
also the question will come from a lot of people is, you are earning in dollars, so why are you complaining?
Why you
So
complain?
if you want to calculate your earnings also in dollars, I mean, we're talking like a crazy amount of money,
Yeah,
like unimaginable to a lot of people outside of maybe the US. And they go, oh, you
mhm,
are earning this much, but when you break it down
yeah,
by how much you spend on bills, and then it no
mhm,
longer makes sense. So
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
that's why it's more like earning it. Just like there's a saying back in Nigeria, like the money you make in Lagos gets spent in Lagos. You spend it in Lagos. So
yeah.
I
Again,
think that,
to to your point, so maybe we can try to even do that extrapolation or to just compare. Like, you fill your tank, right? You buy gas in your car. Let's say you buy like $50.
yeah,
So do you feel like it's expensive? Okay, so if you say $50 times 1,500, that's how much? That's
that's
75,000.
75K. Yeah. Mm.
I feel like 75,000 is still what you feel in that same car if you're in Lagos, right? Or will you have spent more,
Well, I mean, it looks like that because the cost of
right?
things back in Nigeria,
Has
I
gone
mean,
up,
these
right?
days, like, yeah, but
Especially now with the subsidy removal, like, you are not trying to like compare apples to apples, like you are not using dollars to like calculate how much a liter of fuel is and all of that. So you're probably spending the same 75,000 naira in that same car. The problem is the level of income might not be right.
that you don't earn, like, it's
Cost
not
of
commensurate. You
living,
don't earn that kind of
you
money.
don't earn that kind of money. So if you don't earn that kind of money, you don't want to fill your tank with 75,000 or something. Like, maybe
Yeah.
75,000 might not even fill your tank anyway, right? So it's
So,
really,
okay, let
so
me
for
ask
me,
you
I
this.
do that. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this direct question. Like, what's the craziest Naira equivalent you've ever done when trying to buy something, and what were you trying to buy? Like the craziest amounts, like that
I
you just
know.
thought in your head, like, wow, I'm nuts, or maybe this is crazy. Whether you bought it or not is not relevant, but it's a crazy amount. Yeah.
I think maybe trying to buy a house or trying to check
Okay.
prices of it. Yeah. Looking at the prices of house, trying to get a house, the down payment, or even trying to look at the cost of the whole house. Like, if you are
Yeah.
doing a one-time
Like
payment,
closing everything, like it's
closing
crazy amount.
everything, I'm like, wait, let me convert this money to naira and let me know how far.
God, you just be like, okay, if I take this money to Nigeria,
I'm
I'm
going to
definitely
Banana
getting
Island,
something better
right?
than this.
So
Yeah, you're buying a house in Banana
go to
Island.
Banana Island, right? Or I'm going to, right? Like, this is crazy. And at that point, I'm like, okay, no, maybe we just pull back.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
The one I do again is cars. And I think I do that maybe because I love cars. Even when I'm not buying, I'm constantly checking how much is this Corolla 2015? How much is this Lexus 2024? I'm checking and I'm like, okay, if this car is 60,000 US dollars, like, if I want to take it to Nigeria, like, does it really worth it? Like, at what price will you sell it? Like, what will be the market price? Who is going to buy it? Like, who is going to even drive it?
Yeah, you're paying customs duty, you're paying shipping, all of that. So, I mean, it's crazy. So, one question again that I have is like, what's that one thing that you refused to buy that said, I'm not buying this because you converted the price to Naira and just made your chest hurt? I mean, you've talked about the house thing, but I mean,
Yeah.
that's at the extreme end. Well, like, let's think about everyday items that one will buy normally, but you refuse to buy it because you think this hurt my chest. I can't buy this one.
Yeah.
Just
Honestly,
feeling
for
numb in
me,
your left arm or something.
yeah, I will say
All right.
maybe it might be some funny food items. Maybe some
Okay.
other people might buy it, right? Maybe ladies, women, like, there's some food items, like, when I check the prices, I was like, okay, I would rather not eat this. This food is not for me. Maybe ingredients, I think, yeah, there was a day I was in a grocery store. I can't remember which one of the most expensive one. I was looking at curry time and I was seeing like $21, $25. And I could not relate. I'm like, why? Why? What's going on? Right? Because I'm like, am I getting it right? Like, is it for a pack or just for one? Or and I'm like, this is the same curry, right? Curry and time. I'm like, okay, if I do the conversion, how much am I putting in my soup? Like, curry of this amount. Okay, let's just eat the food without curry or something like, or look for an alternative. Yeah, I mean, so there are some items like that. Like I just feel like, okay, like they're really not. Maybe not for now. Maybe I can just do without them. Especially items that they are avoidable, right? Like it's not compelling. Like you could find alternatives to your daily living. There are
Yeah.
stuff
I
that
mean, if you don't eat them, nothing, but nothing's going to
nothing is going
happen,
to
right?
happen, right?
So, yeah.
I know sometimes, like if you are ordering food, especially African foods, can be pretty expensive sometimes. So you want to make it like an occasional thing that you buy. You can't be getting them every time. Like,
So,
yeah, you want to
that's a
get
funny
like,
story. Like when I was back in North Carolina, I went to buy this catfish, that smoked
okay,
catfish, black one.
yeah,
So I saw it. I think the woman is from Gambia or something. So I saw
yeah,
the fish. I was like, wow, I want to buy these. And it was like, so if you're buying these three, it's for like, I think the price was crazy, like $35. Like, this is expensive. Like,
right.
how many do I want to
You
buy
want to,
and cook
yeah,
before? So you're saying if I put these three in a pot of soup, that's $35 going to that soup, and it's not even enough. And she was like, my brother, nobody expects you to cook everything now. You just crush everything one into a soup just to have the taste. It's not for you to eat it and enjoy it. It's just not to forget the taste of when you're back in Nigeria, madam. Like, this is expensive. Yeah, and that's going to take me to, I mean, a few. I was going to do this later, but let me quickly ask you, like,
okay.
so you give me one word answer for this $10 lunch, like a lunch, you want to eat lunch, $10 lunch, buy or cook. Like, you have option to buy $10 lunch, or you
$10
rather just
loan. Yeah, I'll just buy.
buy. Okay, nice. So $3 chocolate bar, you splurge or walk away.
I mean, walk away.
What?
I'm not a
A
fan of.
chocolate bar is not necessary, right? Why chocolate bar? Okay, $50 delivery fee on food. Like you're ordering on DoorDash and Instacart, and the delivery fee is $50. So will you deliver or go pick up yourself?
I mean, I'll go pick up myself definitely.
Okay, that's
I'll go pick
$50 is
because
too much for
if I do the
delivery.
$50 delivery, I'll still tip for like 15% or 25% of that. At the end of the day, I'm probably spending too much. Maybe I can do that once in a month, though. I mean, I don't want to get used to $50 delivery. I'll just go pick up.
Nice. So $120 sneakers. Justify it or drop it. I mean, you can justify it in your head, like, and I
Or
work hard.
justify
I need
it,
to be able to
right?
buy good things myself for myself. How you drop it?
I mean, I will mostly justify it, but again, for how long will I keep justifying, it, right? So yeah. So
Mm.
again, I think again it probably lies with what we like and what we can do,
Yeah.
like doing without and all
And
of
it
that.
depends too, like, when did you buy the last one? If you've not bought a sneakers for yourself, like say in 6 months, you might be able
Mhm.
to
Yeah,
justify that.
yeah,
But if you bought one recently, maybe at the start of this month, you see
Mhm.
another one at
Yeah.
$150, you might have to say, I'll let this pass. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So one last one, $350 concert ticket, yes or no?
The money,
Concert ticket. Just think
the
about the
money.
artists you like so much.
So I think I've done like one or two concerts here in the US, but I don't think it was up to 350.
Okay.
And I've done some like comedy clubs, like on a
Yeah.
routine. And I think the incentive for me was because they were not that expensive. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, it's okay, right? So
So why not?
when it start getting to 350, depending on the artist, I wonder the kind of artist that you are bringing. But again, I know some concert can get that high. Like if the demand is high, it can really go. So if it is like once in a year, end of the year, something like I plan within my budget. Like okay, we'll do this end of the year. Then why not just do it? Maybe like just like a one-off thing, or maybe like something that happens twice a year is fine, right? Yeah,
Okay, so how will you justify this? Like, I know you said something about override,
yeah.
but how would you justify? Let's say $70 is too much or $50
Mhm.
is too high to pay. So how do you justify spending $10, which is like how much? That's like
Great.
7,500, right?
Yeah. You mean
on Uber ride.
$10 for delivery? Okay, for
No,
Uber ride.
for Uber ride, just even $10. How do you
Yeah,
justify it in your head when you think that, or let's say something? Okay, let me rephrase the question. How do you justify spending the equivalence of maybe 60,000 naira? Let me put it that way
okay.
on something like. I mean, you just said you could spend what's it called, $10 on lunch,
Yeah,
$120 on sneakers, that you could
yeah.
possibly justify that. So how do you justify that? Like knowing that this is more than the
Like when I do the
monthly,
conversion and I'm like
it, like
$120
this is
and
more than the minimum wage back in
maybe
Nigeria. Like $120, this will pay, I think, more than two people,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah. Mm.
so
I
you
mean,
think
again,
that, or do you just feel like, nah, we live in different worlds? I mean, why
yeah.
do I?
I'll, I'll definitely come down to myself by saying, yeah, we live in a different world. Again, it's just about priority. Sometimes you just want to do some things for yourself.
Yeah,
Like you just, for me, I'll just look at what I tend to achieve. What am I trying to achieve, right? And happiness is something you don't joke with. Like, oh, this is what I really want for myself. Again, don't forget, if you are probably spending that much on a brand, or I mean, or on a sneaker or a shoe, probably you're looking at the brand or something you've actually been looking forward to. Like, I want to get
right.
this brand,
Yeah,
get this, right? You could go for the $30, $40, right? They are there. You chose to do the 120, 150, right? So, and you also know, like, you are not going to probably get like 5 or 10, or it's not something you are going to be getting every month. So that might be like enough justification for me to say, okay, I know this money will have been like so much back if you do the conversion, but this is what it is. If you are getting this brand, if you are getting this is what you pay. And when you get it, you'll be like, okay. And you know the interesting thing, like just to say like a funny story around that, like I remember then when I think it was in my first year MBA towards the end, or maybe it was in my second year. I was going to like go for like a debate, like a speaker series debate in my school and everything. So I decided to like, let me buy a shoe, let me buy a corporate shoe. And it's not something I really do. Like I like to just like wear like a sneakers or something, like a nice slip-on shoe that I can wear on anything. But I just like, okay, this time around, let me just get this shoe once and for all, right? So I went with my friend. Of course, we went around all the stores. I don't want to mention the name of the stores. And at the end of the day, I mean, the shoe I bought, even me, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, right? I didn't plan it, but I just wanted something like, okay, for this event and for all the series of events, like in that category, shoes are really expensive. Like if you really want to. So I bought this shoe, and that shoe is what I wear every Sunday now. Like, if you get what I mean. I
like
can bring out the shoe and show you the shoe that you will see. That's what I wear every Sunday. Just that if I show up in your house on a Sunday, just be expecting that
I'll be
shoe.
like
Just look
that
at
kind of.
my leg. I mean, like I don't joke with that shoe. When when I paid for that shoe, I told myself, I was like, okay,
I'm gonna use you.
I'm going, you are here for it. So, like,
That
Sunday morning, I'm going to church, I'm going out for education. I just don't care. Whether you say, this guy has been wearing this shoe, well, I just believe in that shoe. Like, because I just remember the circumstances at which I paid for it. My
yeah,
friends were there. The sales guy was like, and their sales here is really it's crazy.
yeah, it's
I
crazy.
mean, everything was set. The pitch was nice. Like, I went to the dress room. Everything was just on point. They were like, there's absolutely no reason for me not to. So, I mean, but again, to your point, when you do the conversion, you'll be like, this is a lot of money, right? Like, maybe
Yeah,
somebody might actually like buy a keke or
yeah.
like,
So that
not,
was going to be my next question. That have you ever felt guilty for spending money in dollars because you imagine
yeah,
what that could do for someone
yeah,
back home in
yeah,
Nigeria, like whether it could change their life, and you are
yeah.
spending it
I
on
mean,
something
and the
not
simple
really.
answer is I don't. I've never felt guilty. Yeah, yeah, seriously, because there's a place for everything, right?
Yeah,
So what I do for myself, what I try to do is, I mean, without trying to like sing praises of myself or something, which I know like a lot of us do, there are stuff you do for yourself, for people. Just make sure like you create that balance.
yeah, absolutely. So, so what's the most friend? I mean, I'm trying to see the best way to phrase this question. Look at the best way to phrase it. So, what's like the most friendly, most naira friendly purchase you've made in the US that made you
Naira,
feel like, oh, I beat the system? Like, you felt like, okay, I bought this and this is so close to what I will have paid in naira, right?
yeah.
Is there anything like that?
Let me see. Maybe when I bought a laptop, I think,
That you felt the price was
yeah,
comparable to
yeah,
what you
I
get in
felt like the
Nigeria.
price was really good.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the deals on Amazon, it was a sales and everything. I got this Asus laptop and I looked at the price. I'm like, if I get to get this laptop in Nigeria, you probably would like 50K or 500K,
It'd probably be more expensive by the time you add
probably be even more, right?
shipping
You
fee
know,
and all those things to
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm like, wow, this is a good deal if I do the conversion. In fact,
Yeah.
to your last question, it was at that point I'm like, maybe I should even buy two and just send it to two people in Nigeria. Because I feel like they will really appreciate it, like, because I'm like, I'm just getting this. I felt like I was getting it for free. Like, this is really so convenient, right? If I do the conversion, I feel like I really cheated the system that way. Maybe, yeah. I mean, that's the one that comes to my mind right now.
Yeah. Let
Yeah.
me ask you one last question,
Okay.
like whether you've ever been tempted to send a photo of a price tag to someone in Nigeria, maybe friends or family, just for them to scream in horror, like, so you're paying this amount for this item? Like, have you been tempted or have you even done it before?
I think I might have done it for my brother. Yeah. I just wanted him to see how much we are spending on foodstuffs. I think it was rice. It
Yeah.
was rice we ordered. And I think then we're still even buying it very expensive. I think it was like $85 or so. And I'm like, do the conversion of $85 to buy, that parboiled rice box.
Box. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. I just wanted to see, I wanted him to see, like, okay, do the conversion like 85 times and see. It was like, wow, just for rice. Wow. And it's not even a bag of rice. You
Exactly.
understand? Yeah. So me, yeah, I did that.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I think the only one that I have done is hospital bills, like that I did too.
yeah,
I sent to
that's a
someone
good
in
one.
Nigeria, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
just look
Yeah.
at this, like
Yeah.
2 3 days in the hospital
Yeah.
for $39,000 actually, like in bills. Like this
Yeah.
is crazy. I even sent that to more than one person. I sent it to
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of people, right? Just to
Yeah.
understand,
So
like,
that just reminded me of hotel bills. I call hoteling, staying in an hotel. You remember the last one I stayed? Thank God I wasn't the one that paid.
hey, Jay,
Just stay with my family, stay for like 6 weeks or 4 weeks or so. The bill was like 29,000.
29,000, yeah,
This is like a fortune. I
yeah,
think
for
I
some,
sent that one to my brother to like see. So will I be like, this guy must be crazy. I've just sent this money. Send half of. I said, I
exactly
wish I got half of that money too,
that money.
just for myself. Yeah. So yeah, those kind of things.
I
I
mean, when
think.
things are company or government sponsored, I mean, you can't really control it and what they do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, so one final, I mean, this is not a question. It's just that what advice will you give to
Yeah.
anyone like coming to the US or maybe even the UK, anywhere in the world, and about converting prices from US dollars to Naira? Should they
Yeah.
just forget about it? Don't do it? Or does it help to bring things into perspective at times, like just to
I
see
mean,
how things are different?
I would just say from my own experience, like the earlier you stop doing the conversion, the better, right? It's this advice will probably not help you, right? But just know, because you will still be doing it, but just know like you are not really like helping yourself, right? It's a different ballgame entirely. I watched an interview, I think it was like a commentary on Facebook or something, and we were doing some analysis, trying to analyze like people that like go to the UK to work or probably are schooling and now living and working in the UK, now comparing to Nigeria, and they're like, hey, your life is not really better off and all of that. Like, hey, our life is better off, like I'm earning £4,000 or something. And the actual analysis is that from that 4,000 or whatever amount that is, like you have also said to Ahmed, there are bills that will go off that, like it's non-negotiable. You have to
Tax,
remove
rent,
transport,
utilities.
tax,
Yeah,
rent, and once you remove all of that, maybe you are left with very small amount of money. So that's the actual money you should like start comparing, right? To start like, okay, this is actually what I have. You can't just say £5,000 or something and do the conversion and say 5,000 times 2,000 and say, wow, 1 million every month. Because you really cannot have the 1 million at hand. You are only sure you get the 5,000 is probably just passing through your account. Like there's no way like you really have that. So the earlier you stop doing the conversion, the better. But I know that it might be challenging to stop the conversion at the initial stage, especially why? Because for someone that probably took a loan from Nigeria, that's one
That's
Nigeria.
like 10 million naira, right?
Yeah,
That's 1
like
million. That's 10 million.
10 million. Yeah,
Yeah.
10 million naira. It's a lot of so
It's still a lot of money still, yeah.
from Nigeria, you'll be like, wow, 10 million. This guy that could not
Mm-hmm.
afford to hold 1 million back when he was in Nigeria, now he's getting 10 million every month. Wow. That means within 10 months he will have 100 million. Wow. But he's not going to have that 100 million. Right?
Nah.
Just want to understand, but again, to my point, like you keep doing that conversion because probably you have a loan or you have a business you are still servicing in Nigeria, or you understand, or you are sending money back to build something or so. I think that's what fuels that conversion most times. But over time, because we have all done it too. Don't forget, like back in Nigeria, you just see like, hey, this bros is living somewhere in California. I hear like this guy's rent is $5,000, and you're like, is he crazy? Like, why is he spending that kind of money? $5,000 times 1.5. This guy is spending how much is that? So, yeah, wow, why will he be doing that? Meanwhile, we just need 1 million to just take care of XYZ. Why is this?
You don't know that if you had the option to, you'll probably be living and be cheap.
So
Yeah.
the earlier you really stop doing that
Yeah, but
conversion.
does it help prioritize? I mean, does it help prioritize like health? It gives you like
Well,
the gut check of what's really important versus
yeah,
what's
I think
really
it does.
important,
It
right?
does.
So maybe if you think about the conversion to Naira and you just feel like it's too much money to spend, maybe it's an indication that you shouldn't spend that money on that
On that
particular
stuff.
item, right? Because if it's a necessity, like you said, utilities, tax,
Yeah,
those are mandatory, you have to pay them, then you hardly think about the Naira conversion because there are things you have to do.
absolutely.
But when you start having that, like, is this too much in Naira? Maybe you really need to rethink investing money on that thing too.
Absolutely. To your point, there are stuff like you can't do anything about, like it's out of your control. If you look at your tax bill every month, every year, take a look at how much you have paid
Just
into
like
tax.
this, how much I paid,
Yeah.
right, in taxes, you know,
You'll be like, let me just send it to someone. Like,
federal, state.
yeah, do the conversion, but you don't need to do the conversion with tax, right? But to your point, it helps to prioritize, right? Like
Yeah,
looking at what you can control, you can now say, okay, this is what I want to prioritize, this is what I
no,
want to spend the money on, this is what I can avoid for now, and this is what I want to save, And again,
yeah,
while you are saving too, I think it might also help to like, hey, if I have this amount of money in dollars, it means that technically this is what I have in naira. That kind of, but whether that helps or not, I really
no.
don't know.
I mean, that's left for you to decide.
I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, this has been interesting and fun for me, and a topic that I
yeah,
think we
for
should
me
just
too.
talk about. Like, a lot of people, at least outside of Nigeria, can relate to, and those that are currently in Nigeria also will get some perspective on people's earnings and the cost of surviving and living here. Like, I mean, when you hear somebody earns $1,000 or £5,000 a month, doesn't necessarily translate to saving maybe 2,000. I mean, someone can say, if I'm earning 5,000, I'll just be saving 2,000 every month. No, it doesn't really work that way, right? So there are a lot of
Absolutely.
costs that we were able to avoid back in Nigeria that you can't really avoid it. You have to pay them, whether you use them or not. I mean, in my
Yeah.
community here, we pay for community electricity, swimming
Mhm.
pool facilities, everything. I
Yeah.
barely use those things.
Yeah.
Still have to pay them. There's no way to avoid them. So yeah, this has been interesting for me. And if you really like this conversation, and you want to join the conversation, just drop in the comments whether you're in Nigeria or outside, and just share any interesting or fun stories related to this that you have in the comment section. And yeah, we always reply. I will try to reply to as many of them as possible. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share with your family and friends, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.